Welcome back to page 121. Today we're going to talk about a book I really enjoy, Adventure Number 1, The Kinunir. And I'm going to show the back. And look, it won the H.G. Wells Award for Best Role-Playing Scenario in 1979. I'm not mocking that. That's pretty cool. In 1979, competition was TSR. So for this to win speaks highly of Traveller and Traveller products at the time, and of course still today. The reason I want to take a look at Kinunir is it's a neat ship. And this is not an adventure proper. It's more a set of adventure hooks. But we're going to take a look at the booklet itself and the adventure hooks, the layout of the ship and everything, and then a little something that was published a few years ago that's still available on DriveThruRPG that I think you might like. So today we're going to take a look at the Kinunir on page 121. The Kinunir, Adventure Number 1, published by Game Designers Workshop in 1979, and Best Role-Playing Adventure for 1979, winning an H.G. Wells Award. That's no small feat considering that TSR was the main competitor at the time. I was always impressed that Traveller was able to grab a lot of the prestigious awards early in their existence, as well as throughout their existence. As you can see, I paid the princely sum of $3.98 for this guy, and it looks like it's a first edition from 1979. This is not an adventure as such. It's about the Kinunir and what becomes the Kinunir class of ships, built primarily out in the marches. And I'm going to go into that a little bit. I'm going to show the ship itself. It's a nice layout for a starship, and it's fun reading some of this older Traveller stuff, some of the early stuff. So the beginning, we could just get, what is a game, standards and assumptions, how we date things in Traveller, and then using the adventure. Basically, it tells you the adventure has the entrance of the players at one of three worlds: Yanga, Regina, or Efate. So you can plug this in pretty much anywhere. And the idea is there are it goes in the dialect rolling conventions. Then we talk about the four basic situations that serve the basis for the adventure. So here's four different story hooks, what they're called now. Back then they weren't called that. The Scrap Heap. Basically, you've got a gentleman who wants some tech information on the Kinunir, and the class itself is classified, so he's going to hire you, pay up to 200,000 credits as a group to get in and find out the true tankage of the vessel and how the black globe generator is mounted. By doing this, you go to the Scrap Heap, finding an old Kinunir that's been decommissioned, and take the measurements you need. An interesting hook. Definitely one I know my players would bite on. Then a hunting expedition. A foppish young noble, accompanied by two retainers. The first, an old man, age 58. I love that. This is written by men who were younger in 1979. Basically, he undertakes a hunting of tree krakens, which have been looked at in JTAS. And you're with him, and you get captured and sent to prison for hunting them illegally. And then the Gash. Decommissioned Kinunir. You're taking aboard a Kinunir. That's the hook in this one, the hunting expedition. You're incarcerated aboard a Kinunir and taken to another star system. In the Gash, you are breaking into a prison. This prison is a Kinunir vessel called the Gaish that had been decommissioned and repurposed as an orbiting satellite prison. So the idea is that the player characters would have to go in as a young lady, age 22, approaches the band, hoping they will help the solution to her problem. Her father is a noble and a senator, but has been missing since 1102. This takes place in about 1105. The neat thing about a lot of this book is there's a bit of an evil empire flavor going on. This is before the Third Imperium had been fleshed out. And we kind of have an evil emperor a la Star Wars going. And I remember that from some of the oldest Traveller stuff. And I always found that very enjoyable. And it was neat to encounter it here. So the Gaish is a prison hulk. And the players would somehow get into the prison, get the father out, and release him. That reminds me of an old Three Stooges, where the Stooges go to prison to release, or to find an honest man. And then in another recut of the same one, to release the father of a young girl. I'm wondering if that's where this was taken from. This scenario I actually ran for my group years ago, right around the time that Star Trek VI was out. So that was about 1990. Rura Pente, the prison planet that Bones and Kirk are imprisoned on for a while, kind of got me in the mood for a little space prison stuff. So I ran this story. It was fun. It's a little more limiting that you want, and honestly, your players have to be really be on it, or they get captured and imprisoned. Uh, and then the Lost Ship is the final one, and this is the actual Kinunir itself. This ship is they go to the Chianti asteroid belt, and then they find the actual Kinunir, the ship, the flagship, not the flagship, but the primary ship that gave the rest of the Kinunir line its name. So this is the Kinunir, and you're looking for it, and you find it, and you find out that its computer has gone all hell on us, and eliminated the crew, and now you have to figure out ways to get past the crazy computer. So now we have rumors, and Traveler has done an interesting thing with the rumors here. Is you throw 2 dice 6, one across and one down. So if I threw a 4 and a 4, I would go to rumor Z. So I go ahead and rumor Z, a recent uprising on Ferry has cut the Imperial communication jump route from Regina to Efate. So these are just general rumors. So this is kind of a neat little way to do the rumors. Some of the rumors repeat, and it gives you everything here. Here's a page of rumors. Rumors are huge in older modules. They're still pretty big in modern stuff, but they used to be real drivers of stories. And now we go to the battlecruiser. We're into the specifics on the Kinunir class. It's 1,200 ton displacement, 4G with a jump 4, and a crew of 10 officers, 35 men, and 35 ship's troops. And then, of course, one of the things I love is the dispositions of the various ships of the Kinunir class. And here we go. That's so cool. I love that. The Kinunir itself was lost. The Kinunir disappeared without a trace while on routine patrol sometime in mid-1088. Subsector-wide search failed to locate the ship, and its fate remains unknown. That's one of the good early Traveler mysteries, and I'm going to tie into that in just a minute with what I showed toward the end of this video. So now we get the Regina subsector, and then we get a nice look at the ship itself. Jump 4, as I said, maneuver 4, and 1,200 ton displacement, and then we get the actual flight deck. The layout, there she is, very pretty. One of the things I love about the old Traveler, one of the things that got me into Traveler, were the deck plans. I geek out over these things every time I see them. The key to the deck plan, of course, there we go. This is the Marine Barracks and drive deck, and then more of the code itself, how the ship is laid out, and this is the Deck D, the Petty Officer and Ratings Quarters. And then we talk about the computer, and the computer has an early form of tech level 17 artificial intelligence, and this is what malfunctioned aboard the Kinunir. And there are verbal overrides. It's funny how you have to find information of what we now consider the internet. In this, you have to write a program in order to search this and that, but it was 1979, folks. Computers were big as a house then. We get the ship's vehicles. We have air rafts, a Grav APC, a pinnace, and then, of course, some jump capsules. And there's our Naval Lieutenant Officer assigned to the Kinunir class battlecruiser as a shore liaison officer. His duties include forward observer for the ship's guns in troop support role. He carries a laser carbine for target designation. And now we get into the crew, and this is a really good layout of the crew. If you ever want to, you need a crew on the fly, you got it right here. It's broken down by officers, petty officers, and ratings, the Marines, and then the various squads. So this is beautifully broken out. Again, very utilitarian. That's what these older videos did. Look at that, a bad cut on the corner. I like that. I have a few comic books like that. And now we go to the library data, which were the bread and butter of a lot of the early Traveler stuff. Is the library data. We'd stamp them up so we could just read up on the library data in the back. Again, I did not buy this in 1979. I started playing Traveler in 81. But I know that when I saw this at the store, I grabbed it right away. I like this one a lot. So now we got a referee's notes. These are tips on how to run the scenario. Maybe you could just do a different lost ship of the Kinunir class. And that's it. And then we're out. So it's a pretty straightforward adventure. It's not an adventure in the linear sense. It's certainly no dungeon crawl or anything like that, which were popular at the time. but it is a nice series of adventure hooks, and it led into something really cool. That is this short novel called The Fate of the Kinunir, written by Robert E. Vardaman, and it was published in 2013. It's still available on Drive-Thru RPG. I enjoyed reading this. It's some of the earlier traveler fiction, and it definitely covers what happened to the Kinunir. It tells us. It gives us the story. I'm not going to go into details on this. I don't want any spoilers, but you want to find the fate of the Kinunir, it's right here. It's one man's vision brought out, and it's about 150 pages long. It's a fun read. After everybody's had a chance to look at it, maybe sometime down the line I'll take a look at it on its own merits. But for today, I'm just informing you that it exists. It's on Drive-Thru RPG. I downloaded this probably back when it was new in 2013, and I've read it a number of times. I enjoy it. It's got a nice traveler flavor to it. So that's all I've got today for page 121. Please like and subscribe if you like what you heard and saw. Remember the patron, please, if you would. And that's it for today. I'll see you next time on page 121.